There was a time when an entire American city didn't answer to the mayor, didn't fear the police, and didn't trust the courts. It answered to one man. He never ran for office. He never wore a badge. He rarely appeared in public. Yet nothing moved, not construction contracts, not garbage collection, not nightclubs, not unions, without his approval. People whispered his name in diners. Judges avoided eye contact. Business owners paid him before they paid taxes. And then, after decades of absolute control, one phone call changed everything. Today, we're uncovering how a single mafia boss built a shadow government inside a U.S. city, and how modern technology, patience, and one overlooked mistake brought his empire crashing down. Stay with me, because the ending is not what you expect. To understand how one man took over an entire city, you need to understand the city itself. This was post-war America. Factories were booming. Unions were powerful. Cash was everywhere. But corruption was just as widespread. City officials were underpaid. Police departments were divided. Federal agencies were overstretched. And organized crime knew one thing better than anyone else: power doesn't come from violence alone. It comes from systems. This boss didn't start with guns. He started with relationships. He positioned himself between labor unions and construction companies, between politicians and campaign donors, between business owners and protection. At first, people didn't even realize they were under his control. They just knew that permits got approved faster, strikes disappeared, problems went away. By the time they noticed, it was already too late. What made this mafia boss different was not brutality. It was discipline. He banned unnecessary violence. He punished impulsive behavior. He enforced silence with precision. No flashy cars. No public arguments. No phone calls using names. Instead, he built an empire that looked normal. Legitimate businesses, real estate, waste management, nightlife, transportation. On paper, he was a businessman. In reality, he controlled who got hired, who got fired, which companies survived, which ones quietly failed. Law enforcement suspected him. The public feared him. But no one could touch him. Why? Because no one could prove anything. The boss didn't fight the system. He became part of it. Campaign donations, favors, information. He never bribed loudly. He helped quietly. A judge's son needed a job, done. A councilman wanted union peace before an election, handled. A police captain wanted an early retirement, arranged. And in return, blind eyes, lost files, insufficient evidence. For years, federal investigators hit a wall. Every witness recanted. Every lead collapsed. The boss understood something crucial: the most powerful criminals never look like criminals. Then the world changed. Technology advanced. Phones became traceable. Surveillance became smarter. And younger members of the organization became careless. The boss warned them, don't talk on phones, don't text, don't trust anyone. But power creates arrogance. And arrogance creates mistakes. Federal agents stopped chasing crimes. Instead, they listened. For years, hundreds of hours of silence, background noise, half sentences. Until one day, a single phone call connected everything. The call wasn't dramatic. No threats, no violence, no shouting. Just one line, a confirmation, a name used when it shouldn't have been, a detail only the boss could know. That was it. Years of suspicion turned into evidence, not because of force, but because of patience. The same patience the boss had used to build his empire was now used to destroy it. Indictments stacked up. The city woke up to a reality it had ignored for decades. Businesses collapsed. Officials resigned. Old alliances vanished overnight. The boss didn't run. Didn't resist. By the time he was arrested, he already knew. Power had shifted, and the city, once controlled by whispers, was finally free. This story isn't about glorifying crime. It's a warning. It shows how easily systems can be manipulated when silence replaces accountability, and how no empire, no matter how quiet, how organized, how powerful, survives forever. All it takes is one mistake, one call, one moment. Outro CTA. If you want more deep, documentary-style true crime stories like this, stories about power, corruption, and downfall, subscribe now, because the next story might be even darker and even closer to home.